Good morning, dear students. Let me welcome the 9th class students for this session of English-2, in which we will have the discussions about today's topic, the correct use of adjectives. So, students, before going to discuss this chapter, the correct use of adjectives, let's have a little concentration for that. For concentration, we should have Brahmanath. Therefore, please sit Siddha with Dhyana Mudra and with closed eyes have Brahmanath. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Relax. Dear student, let me again welcome you to this session of our current discussion. Today, as I have already told, our topic is the correct use of adjectives. As you know, adjective is one of the important parts of speech. Like other parts of speech, adjective is also an important part. You can say understanding about the adjective is a ocean. Adjective is also an ocean, and we will understand some of a part of this adjective so that it will be easier for us to use them correctly. And before going to discuss the instructions available for using adjectives correctly, let me tell you an example. Besides this, I will also tell you the different kinds of adjectives we have. After that, we will understand how we can use them correctly. Okay? And for that, let me write on this board. Okay? Here you see, as I have told you, adjective, which is an important part of speech, it means adjectives are some words that qualify, enhance and modify the meaning of a noun and gives more information about it. If our sentence has a noun and we want to modify, enhance or the qualify its meaning and give more information about that noun, then we say those words are adjectives. Okay? So the definition is over here. For that, the example is given over here. You can see there is a black box in the box. So here you see there is a box in the box. But here we have used black just to modify and enhance the meaning of this box, which is a noun. Therefore, this word black is enhancing or modifying the meaning of this box noun. That is why this black is used here as an adjective. It functions as an adjective. Similarly, you see another example is given over here. There are 3 small red chairs in the house. There are 3 chairs in the house. There are chairs in the house also, we can say. But here we have used 3 small red. These are some of the words which are completely associated with the chairs and enhancing the meaning of the chair with its number, its size and color. So, they are functioning as the adjectives of this chair because they are enhancing or modifying the meaning of the noun available in our statement. Understand? Now we understood that adjectives are some words that qualify or modify or enhance the meaning of the nouns in our sentence, for which we get some more information about the noun. Those words are helping to do this. They are called adjectives. Okay, so let me write some different types of adjectives so that it will be easier for us to understand the correct use of adjectives. Okay, let me write so that you can better understand. I'll write it briefly so that you can better understand. Dear students, before understanding the instructions for us for the correct use of adjectives, let's understand the different kinds of adjectives we normally use in writing and speaking and in our text. So here I have written some kinds, or you can say the types of such adjectives. There are normally 9 different types of adjectives we have been using while speaking and writing. The first of such adjective is a descriptive adjective. Descriptive adjective, what it describes something, it qualifies something. Understand? So normally while we are using the descriptive adjectives, we use those degrees. Degrees means we have positive degree, we have comparative, we have superlative degrees. The examples such I have given over here, you can see good, better, the best, beautiful, more beautiful, the most beautiful, long, longer, longest, wise, wiser, wisest, like such. We are using these descriptive adjectives. Similarly, the second is quantitative adjective, which is talking about the quantity, like all, some, much, little, whole, enough. There are several other such adjectives which are called the quantitative adjectives. I am telling you just to know so that while understanding the instructions for using the correct use of English, it will be helpful for us. Similarly, numeral adjectives. Numeral adjectives are talking about the numbers. As you know, it is numeral. The adjectives like 1, 2, 3, twice, thrice. Okay. Similarly, single, double, triple, much, a lot of, etc. Similarly, there are some other such words are functioning as numeral adjectives. The next is demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrative adjectives. Demonstrating some words which demonstrate the nouns available in our statement and qualifying them. So what are they? They are this, that, these, those, such. Similarly, articles like a, and, the, etc. They are called demonstrative adjectives. Next is the distributive adjectives. Distributive adjectives such as each, every, either, neither, etc. They are called the distributive adjectives. Next is the interrogative adjectives. Some interrogative words like WH words we use as an adjective. So they are like who, what, who cannot be used as an adjective. What, which, we can use whose as an adjective. Like whose house is this? What color is this? Which pen is this? So these words are functioning as adjectives. Okay, so similarly, we have another type of adjective is possessive adjective. Some possessive words are functioning as adjectives like my pen, our school, your computer, his notebook, her cycle, its color, their team. Understand? So these are functioning as possessive adjectives. Understood? So similarly, we have some proper names are functioning as adjectives like Japanese, Indian, Chinese, etc. Japanese technology, Japanese mobiles, Indian missiles, Chinese pistols, Chinese army. Understand? So these words which are talking about the proper name of some countries or something which are functioning as an adjective, therefore they are called proper adjectives. Understand? So similarly, we have the last one is the emphatic adjective. Emphatic, as you know, we are giving much stress over there and they are functioning as adjectives. And like a very good boy. Understand? Very, perfect, utter, total, absolute, own, pure, etc. Similarly, there are some other words are also still available to function and are functioning as emphatic adjectives. My purpose is to tell you that you should know different kinds of adjectives so that while using them, we can understand how to use them correctly. Okay, let's understand now what different instructions given to us to use adjectives correctly for speaking and for writing and for our text. Okay, here you see the first of such instruction given to us for the correct use of adjective is the adjectives like this and that are always followed by singular nouns. Similarly, these and those, the adjectives like these and those are always followed by plural nouns. Understand? If we use this and that with the plural nouns, it is incorrect. Similarly, if we use these and those for singular nouns, it is also incorrect. Therefore, suppose we have given an example over here, you can just see and distinguish them. I don't like these kind of people. Here you see the kind is given as a singular noun and before that we have used this. Okay, so this sentence is completely incorrect. Similarly, I don't like those sort of people. Here we have used those and sort is a singular noun. Therefore, here we have used those as incorrect adjectives. If we write like the following, our sentence will be 100% correct in accordance to the instruction given to us. What is this? I don't like, it should be, the correct should be, I don't like this kind of people. Because here this is used before a singular noun. Similarly, that is used before a singular noun. So here, I don't like this kind of people. I don't like that sort of people. Understand? So here instead of writing those sort of people, we can write that sort of people. Instead of writing these kind of people, we can write this kind of people. Therefore, we understood that this and that, those adjectives used before singular nouns, these and those are used before plural nouns. Let's understand the second instruction. Here let's understand the second such instructions for using adjectives correctly. What it says? It says the words like superior, inferior, senior, junior, etc. are always used as comparative degree. Superior, inferior, senior, junior, etc. They are used as comparative degrees. But they are often followed by to instead of them. We know whenever we are using comparative degrees, we use normally than. But here, this specific words like superior, inferior, senior and junior, etc. They are followed by to instead of using than. Only it is correct. Okay? Otherwise, if we use then our sentence will be incorrect. The example is given over here. You just see. This cloth is superior to that. Or this cloth is inferior to that. Similarly, he is junior to me in age. Similarly, he is senior to me in age. Understand? So this superior, inferior, junior and senior are always followed by to while we are comparing between two things or two persons taking some quality or taking something. You can say age or you can say quality, or we are comparing taking a certain thing between two things or two persons or two places. In that case, if we are using the words like the adjectives like superior, inferior, senior and junior, they must be followed by to instead of them. And from these examples, we understand. Okay, let's understand the next such instruction. Here you see the third instruction for using adjectives correctly. What is this? Let's understand. In comparing two things, when we are comparing two things between, the comparatives should be used. We should not use the superlatives. In comparing two things, the comparatives, not the superlatives, should be used. Here you see the examples given over here. He is the taller of the two. We cannot use the tallest of the two. So similarly, which is the better of the two? Which is the better of the two? So we cannot say which is the best of the two, because we are comparing. So we should use the comparative degrees for comparison. Similarly, of the two evils, choose the less. Less is comparative degree, you must know. Little, less and least. Instead, little is positive, less is comparative, whereas least is in superlative degree. So here, which of the evils of the two evils, choose the less. Okay, so here less should be used because we are comparing between two evils. We should not use the least. Instead, for comparisons, we should often use comparative degrees, not the superlative degrees. This is only the instruction in this. From this example, we understood how we should use comparative degrees while comparing two things, and we should not use the superlatives while comparing two things. Instead, let's understand the next rule. Here you see we have another instruction for using adjectives correctly. What is this? When one thing is compared with every other, that means one person is compared with every other of similar kind, similar type of persons. One student is compared with all the students of the same class, for example. So when one thing is compared with every other of the same kind, take care to use every other. We must use the word every other. If one thing is compared with the others of the same kind, every other of the same kind, then we should use the word every other. When after an adjective in the positive and comparative degrees. That means, again let me read. When one thing is compared with every other of the same kind, take care to use every other. In every other after an adjective in the positive and comparative degrees. Okay? So here what happens? One example is given. If we don't use every other, we cannot compare one thing with the similar kind of any other things, others the same kind. You see, Misa is as intelligent as any other girl in every other girl in the class. Okay? So Misa is every other girl. You see, so I did a little mistake over there in writing while. See, when one thing is compared with every other of the same kind, take care to use any other after an adjective in the positive and comparative degrees. So, previously I told you every other, but it was wrong. It is any other. The word should be any other if we are comparing one thing with every other things of the same kind there. Okay? So one thing is compared with every other kind of the same thing. So in that case, we should use any other, the word after the adjective. You see, so when one thing is compared with every other of the same kind, take care to use any other after an adjective in the positive and comparative degrees. So for that the example is given. You see, Misa is as intelligent as any other girl in the class. That means Misa is intelligent, like other girls are also intelligent. So Misa is compared with every individual girl in the class. All are similarly intelligent. That means. So similarly, Nehru was more popular than any other leader of his time. So we have used any other girl, any other leader of his time. So like other leaders were more popular, Nehru was also similarly popular during his time. So unless if we don't write any other over here, if we don't write any other the word over there, then the comparison will be for the individual person. That means Nehru, if we don't write any other, means if we don't write other, then it will be of himself. One person is compared with himself. One girl is compared with herself only. The example also I have written over here. You just see. This is what the contradiction. If this word other is absent in our sentence, its meaning changes. Okay? So you see, Misa is as intelligent as any girl. So we did not write the word other over here. So its meaning changed. What does it mean? Its meaning, you see, Misa is as intelligent as herself. That means there is no other person, no other girl is intelligent like Misa. If we don't write the word other, the comparison is only with the thing or the person himself or itself or herself, not with the others. So therefore, when we are comparing with similar kind of other things, other persons, we must use the word other with any, as the examples given over here. What is that? Misa is as intelligent as any other girl in the class. Similarly, Nehru was more popular than any other leader of his time. Understand? We are comparing. So, but if we don't write the word other, its meaning change. And like this, next example, Misa is as intelligent as any girl. That means Misa is as intelligent as herself. Understand? So, but we cannot use these things without using the other while we are comparing. But it has some contradictions for the superlative degrees. Let me write so that you can better understand. Here you see the use of the word other while comparing with one thing with similar other kinds of people, we use any other. Understand? But when we don't use other, it is the comparison of the person with himself or the girl with herself, as we understand the instruction given earlier. Now the thing is that while we are using the superlative degrees, we must not use the word other. Other must not be used after a superlative degree. Example is given over here, you see. He was the best of all other leaders. You see, though here we have used the superlative degree, the best, so according to the instructions given to us, we cannot use the word other over here. If we use other, then our sentence will be incorrect. Because we cannot use the word other while we are using the superlative degrees or after the superlative degrees. So for that what it will be? It will be he was the best of all leaders. All leaders. Instead of using all other leaders, we should use all leaders because it is followed by a superlative degree. So in superlative degrees, we cannot use the word other. But while in comparative degrees, and we could use the word other with any other girl, any other leader. Understand? But for superlative degrees, we cannot use the word other. We should only use without other. Okay? As the example given, he was the best of all other leaders. So here other is incorrect. Therefore, we should write he was the best of all leaders. Understand? Okay? So, dear students, today we understood some of the instructions given to us to use adjectives correctly. There are lot of other instructions still available which we will discuss in our subsequent classes for using adjectives correctly. And today we understood what exactly the adjectives are, what are the different kinds or types of adjectives and relative words we are using for them, for different kinds. We also understood some of the instructions to use adjectives correctly, and in the next class and subsequent classes we will discuss more such instructions for using adjectives correctly for speaking and for writing as well as for the text. Okay, and for today only this much. Thank you.